Education, as defined by Merriam-Webster, is the action or process of educating or of being educated. The average individual may describe education as the building blocks for a better future. However, this definition by both the dictionary and its colloquial counterpart vary around the world. Most Americans consider their story of education much like this. Yes, this seems a bit simplified, but without knowing what goes on around the world, it is hard to know what things may be different than what we know at home.
Differences in any context are important to understand because they help build character and help acknowledge weaknesses that can be improved upon. New ideas come from inspiration, and we're better to be inspired than from other cultures and how their individual systems have evolved over time. 12 to 13 years of your early life is spent in a system dedicated to helping you grow. This is important to understand because everywhere you go in the world, the ultimate desire is to offer students the best and easiest access to information as possible. However, each nation and each system approaches this totally differently. A nation's approach to early childhood education is paramount to how the nation's culture and society will run. The process of brain development, though mostly biologically driven, will be shaped enormously through experiences and examples observed through life development. In the first 6 years of life, a child's brain will grow 80% of its adult weight, meaning experiences had in this stage of development will shape the individual more than anything else in its life. Currently throughout the world, early childhood education reform is on the rise. Every nation approaches things differently from one another. Perhaps one of the most interesting approaches to this comes from the African country of Ghana. Historically, much of the nation has been plagued by warfare, disease, and other epidemics, creating a hostile atmosphere for many students, as noted by Agya Buke-Batten, PhD in Interdisciplinary Studies and current Director for International Studies Institute at UNC Asheville. According to him, rather than teachers offering academic lectures, they found it far more beneficial to share their culture through their myths and their stories. Elders within cities will be given charge of laying out moral frameworks through stories and tales offering wisdom and ethical codes on behavior and personal relationships. Through the elders' lessons, they would learn about self-preservation and other skills to benefit the community at large. The purpose of the child in Ghana society is to continue the legacy of the parents. Children are expected to take on the roles the parents play. Fathers are the main providers of the family, and mothers provided the needed nurturing for children. The importance of the child in traditional African society is their fundamental role as future insurance for their families, and thus are trained to take on their parents' profession early on. As a result of their emphasis of community, and sometimes more due to budget restraints than anything in schools, great emphasis is placed on community team-building activities like sports, music, and dancing. Though a major effort exists to keep students up to par with modern education, corruption and crippling poverty makes it difficult with books that are sometimes more than half a century old and technology centers that are either non-existent or relying on donors to maintain. Indigenous African children are often trained to conform to the tenets and ethical codes of their culture to better preserve their traditions and maintain the customs that provided their societies with harmonious stability for ages. A continent away, Finland lies in stark contrast to the traditional, community-centric style of Ghana.
The Finnish education system is one that is lauded around the world for its success and progress for the furthering of its students and its ideas. Where Ghana gains most of its success through its devotion to culture and impacting the students socially, Finland gains its prowess from enriching the actual traditional process of education. Leticia Guzman Ingram, an award-winning American educator, writes, "Educators in Finland are more focused on students experiencing love of learning than they are in the measurement of achievement." The Finnish education system gains most of its success by applying this principle in three major facets. First, the educators are valued highly, and it is not easy to become a teacher in Finland. This exclusivity guarantees only the most qualified individuals get into a position of educational leadership. The second facet is educating by a philosophy of less is more. Ingram goes on to explain, with no standardized tests and a stronger reliance on natural discussion, you create a thirst for knowledge in their students. The programs accomplish this with minimal testing, minimal use of technology, and a heavy reliance on learning by doing in the classroom. The last aspect that truly sets Finland apart from the rest of the world is the acknowledgement that they do not have all the answers and are constantly looking for ways to improve, something every system should strive for. Our current education system is one riddled with questions, concerns, and filled with room for improvement. However, we may get the most improvement by looking elsewhere, and around the world specifically. Throughout this documentary, we have covered two vastly different parts of the world and their views and ideas on education. Ghana, on one hand, carries vast amounts of respect for using their culture as a mechanism for education. America can use this by introducing a greater appreciation for the melting pot of cultures we have in our country. Finland draws its great educational strength from its system and the approach for creating a love for knowledge amongst its students and administration.
Across the world, there are incredible systems the U.S. can draw upon. A school that airs only on the radio in Australia has helped all of its rural students succeed. A Swedish and Dutch voucher system has given parents freedom on where to send their students. And even here in the U.S., New York State schools have paved the way as internationally recognized LGBT sanctuaries. In applying these ideas, America can push forth to create a new culture of loving to learn, leaving the door open for growth for all students.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful